It's going to be the Orange County International Raceway in Orange County. As you watch this video, you'll notice some of the ETs in the low sevens. They had a board there that recorded the times as the cars went through. And you notice some of the ETs in the low sevens with a few getting into the sixes with top speeds averaging under 200 with a few in the 200 bracket a little better. This was about it for the technology because available back then, but it was normal run was to smoke the tires to keep the engines from lugging and losing power. And our Bakersfield in 1994, though, a good example of the development in trick clutches and mile-wide tires. The front engine dragster, driven by Ted Taylor, ran a 604 with a top speed of 247. Why don't you give them a rundown on what we're going to see in this next segment, Joe?
Sure thing, Don. You're just passed up some cars like the owners Earl Binns, Doss Brothers. Tommy Ivo was the enclosed car. Don Bowman, Gary Cochran, Tom Larkin, and Benny the Wizard Osborne was out there. Chris Karamesines is coming up here very soon. You'll also see Don Prudhomme, Connie Kalitta, the Smirnoff top fueler driven by Gary Gabelich. Incidentally, some of these cars are still running in the current top fuel ranks of this Nostalgia Racing. Yeah, and here we are with Chris Karamesines out of Chicago. That's him right there against the car. Coming up, you'll see Don Prudhomme very shortly. Connie Kalitta.
The next driver you see sitting in the car is Connie Kalitta taking off his fire suit.
And we have a whole lot of guys with non-gray hair. What do you think about that? Again,
a little hair anyway.
Yeah, something to that
You're
effect.
losing yours in the front. I'm losing mine in the back.
It's creeping down. Fireside in, manifold, modified fuel roadster driven by Larry Dixon, coming up very, very soon. Here's a situation that they don't have any longer is how they started the cars with the rollers. Before they used to push start them, then they had the rollers, and now it's you got to start them on your own.
Okay, we mentioned a second ago that some of the top fuelers there were having a hard time getting into the sixes. And then we mentioned the car that Bakersfield this last year got into the low sixes and 249. The difference in that is technology. We're in no way trying to belittle the times that were turned in by the cars back then, but it just shows you how the hot rodders' ingenuity and being able to develop and design new equipment, even with the same style chassis, could make such an improvement in their times. Technology is the story.
Here's the Fireside in modified fuel roadster. Larry Dixon was the driver back then. Yeah, coming up here very shortly, you'll see Tony Nancy. Some of the times that were tried to obtain on the film, just not quite legible.
Yeah, when the sun gets a little different position, we'll be able to see the times better. I like it. Whoop. You or me? Me? Okay, okay,
it
me.
was you, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. You know, it used to be a joke at Orange County International Raceway that you better have a driver's license and have the car registered with the highway, because at the end of the runway, if your chute didn't work and you went beyond the sand pit, you were up on the freeway. And a few cars wound up on the freeway because they couldn't get shut off in time. So it used to be a joke about the starter. You got your driver's license, everything registered, where's your headlights? And that turned out to be not a joke all the time, because that happened a few times out there.
Yeah, Tom Hoover just went by, Tony Nancy, Pete Robinson. And the Hawaiian. Beautiful cars, and you were talking stuff that was 30 years ago. You'll also see the likes of Tom McEwen, should be popping up any moment. Les Allen, the Stinger Junior Fueler, and the brother of the former NHRA Top Fuel champion, Jeb Allen. K.S. Pittman on the way up here just in a few minutes. And of course the Warren, Coburn, and Miller. They used to refer to those as the Ridge Route Terrors.
And they were.
They were.
Now we're starting to see the times a little clearer. You can,
Yeah.
if you look real close, you can pick up the ET and the top speed on both lanes. I might add here that, you know, we made this list of cars that are in the video, and after that, after we made the list up, I went through and did a little editing, and some of the cars that Joel had mentioning to watch for here just might have wound up on the cutting room floor. So if we mention the look for car, and then you say, where is it? I didn't see it. It's home in the trash can of my house, because I had to cut the length down a little bit, and I got a little bit going carried away with cutting some of the cars out, and I tried to leave the cars in that Joel's going to talk about, but a few of them may be edited out. So if you mention the car and you don't see it, well, this is why.
I think he did it on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Just a few seconds ago, you saw an ET of 729. You'll find that some of these cars that are running today, the same cars, are turning in the sixes and over the 200 mile an hour range.
Technology, that's it.
Exactly. Tires, etc. Knowledge.
Tires a mile wide.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's the Ram Chargers in Detroit.
J&M Speed Center is a junior fueler. Herrera and Sons, Manuel Herrera. Blair's Speed Shop, it was an early car. I think this is one that you might have cut, though. And, of course, you'll see the Pure Heaven AA fuel altered.
And he didn't pop his parachute. He's heading to the freeway.
Yeah, he's going. No lights, too, and probably forgot his license in the other pants. Smoking them down the quarter.
There his chute came off. Those little jets once cruising by. This dragster was within about a mile and a half or 2 miles of El Toro Marine Base. So once in a while the jets would fly over to see what was going on.
Providing they could keep up with the cars.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the way we thought. Did I mention Pure Heaven? I sure did. Sid Waterman, you'll see here shortly. BB and Mulligan. The Starlight Dragster, owned and driven by Chuck Griffith. Carpenter and McCraner. Boat Anchor was a top gas dragster. And we also had the likes of some of the super stalkers, Dick Landy.
Yeah, that was Don Prudhomme just took off in the speed shop car.
Sure was. Brings back memories.
I wish there was a way to slow this film down, but a lot of this film I borrowed from various other fellows, and some of them, they were not professional photographers, so you're going to have to kind of bear with the action. It's a little fast, and you really have to, if you want to look at something, you may have to back up on it and maybe take a second shot at it.
Well, some of the VCRs now have that stop action, so they can pop it around.
That was Tom McEwen car just went by a minute ago, next to his trailer.
Tommy's now since retired from the drag racing field. Another shot of the Chiseler.
He came all the way out from Chicago just to run this meet. That's a pretty long haul to run one meet. Of course, now they have a circuit where they have maybe, 20, 25 races?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they just,
sure do.
all they do for that period of time is just go from one drag strip to another. And they don't just go out and race and go back home again. They have a circuit they run on.
It's a constant challenge just to continue making all these meets because they're from one state to the other. Okay, coming up you'll see the Peters and Frank, the old freight train, dual blown Chevys. There we are. Whoops, that was quick. That car is still running today.
Yeah, they made some very impressive runs up at Bakersfield at the last reunion
Yeah,
with
they
that
sure
car.
did. They sure did.
Okay, no, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
I hope there's not an English teacher listening to
Well,
this.
I used to was a language instructor. Now I are one.
Okay, well, okay, let me start over again. I had some information there that the National Dragster put out by NHRA once a week gave me some permission to run on it, and this is all information on Orange County International Raceway. I'm going to read it, and if my tongue gets tangled up, well, then kind of bear with me. Orange County International Raceway ran from 1967 to 1983. OCR was built on land that was owned by the Irvine Estate, one of the county's biggest landholders. The track was opened for business in September of '67 by Gloria Woods Irvine's son, Bill White, and his partners Larry Vaughn and Mike Jones. The track is located about a half mile off the Sand Canyon exit of the Interstate 5 in East Tustin, where the 5 and the 405 meet. On October 29, 1983, Orange County produced its last drag race. So if you go out looking for the raceway now, all you're going to find is a Price Club Discount House